Welcome inside the CEC TV studios once again. I'm Carrick Segmiller, Assistant Coordinator of Media Relations and radio play-by-play voice here at Dixie State Athletics. This is episode 7 of Dixie State Women's Basketball Weekly, the first installment of the new year. Today I'm excited to be joined by junior forward Maile Richardson on the show. Maile, thanks for taking some time out of your schedule. I know before practice, and school's not in right now, so at least you have that going for you, but thanks for taking some time out of your busy schedule so we can get to know you a little bit better.
Of course, I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
It's exciting to have you on the show. I really enjoy getting to know the student athletes a little bit better and just to hear what you all have to say. So exciting to have you on the show. First thing I like to ask, really to start these interviews off, is why Dixie? Last year, you're just finishing up a couple of years at USU Eastern in Price, Utah. Of course, you're from American Fork.
Yeah.
So, it's fairly close to home. But what was it that influenced your choice to come down to the Red Rocks here in St. George and attend Dixie State University?
Yeah, I think it was the coaches. So I loved my first 2 years in Price. And JD and my coaches in Eastern were like best friends. They're still really good friends, and they have very similar coaching styles. And so that's why I chose Dixie, was because the coaches were awesome, and I knew it'd be familiar and similar. And I love the area, and it was warm all the time.
That's definitely a plus. You don't have to deal about with shoveling a driveway or whatever it may be here. So we probably had an American Fork and Price.
And Price. Price was cold.
We're excited to have you here. We're glad you made the choice to be here. And you talk about where you've played before. Of course, American Fork, Utah. You played at American Fork High School.
Yeah.
You've got an interesting dynamic here in the fact that you're playing with one of your high school teammates as well, and Taylor Moyaki. What's that like? Obviously, you had a couple years at Eastern first, but now you're down here at Dixie, and she's a freshman here. What's that like to play with someone that you kind of already have that chemistry with on the court from high school? Yeah,
it's so fun. Like I said earlier, it doesn't happen very often, and so it's really cool that we get that experience. In high school, we fed off each other a lot, and it's fun to just jump right back into it right where we ended off in high school. So things are just the same. I feed off Taylor. I feel like she feeds off of me really well. We just work well together, and it's fun.
What's something maybe unique about this year's team that versus other teams that you've been a part of?
Yeah, I feel like this year is a foundation. Coach always says that this is a foundation year. We're just building up the program, and that's unique because not some schools, they have a program where they're around and succeeding for years, and this is JD's second year, but he's still just working on it, and that's really fun to just be a part of the foundation piece, and that's unique.
Is that kind of attractive as a recruit when you're looking at a program to come to, an opportunity to make your mark on a program and help a program kind of turn the corner?
For sure, and it's you want to be a part of the culture, and what better way to do that than to be the star of the culture. So,
your junior, it's a very freshman-laden team. You have a couple of seniors as well, but a very young team. And so you being a junior, one of the upperclassmen, there's probably a sense of leadership about you. What kind of role does that help you take on this team?
I feel like leadership is everything, and it's not really, leadership doesn't have to be a upperclassman thing. It just kind of comes with time. But I don't know. It's
I really like you saying you don't have to be a junior or senior to be a leader, and that's a very great point. What's been one of your favorite moments? I know I'm kind of putting you on the spot here.
Yeah.
Just want to get to know you. What's been one of your favorite moments on the basketball court? It could have been American Fork, could have been at USU Eastern. It could have been here at Dixie State in one of the first few games of the season. Do you have a favorite moment or two that you kind of like to go back? Maybe a game-winning shot or a steal or a block that you had to help get a big win?
Yeah, I honestly can't think of a specific moment, but there's little moments in every game that I really thrive off of. And it's just when anyone makes a big play, and then the whole team just yelling in each other's faces, just getting pumped. I think that's the little moments in every game that I really look forward to. There was a few games ago, I don't remember who we were playing. Honestly, all games just blur together to me. But I made a big three at the end, and everyone was just screaming in my face, and that's so fun. I think those little moments are what makes it fun.
Back to the team and some of your teammates, like we mentioned before, a couple times you played at USU Eastern just up the road in Price. If I'm doing my math right, your freshman year would have been Maddie Ventling's and Lisa Van Kampen's sophomore year at Snow and at CSI. So you got to play against both of those players. I'm sure now you're on the same team playing with them in practice. What's that dynamic like?
It's honestly no different. At the beginning, I was kind of intimidated by them. I was just oh man, they were so good. But it's just so fun to have them on my side now, and they're great players, so it's fun to have them.
Is there someone on this team that kind of helps keep the moment light? Things can get serious, things can get everyone's focusing on the game? Is there someone that's kind of the joker or the comedian on the team that helps keep things real?
I feel like it's me. Like, I feel really bad saying that. I don't know. I hate, I don't hate serious moments, but sometimes things do get heavy, and I'm always just like I don't know. I feel like I'm the one that breaks the awkward seriousness.
Well, that works out great.
Yeah.
You're the one I'm interviewing here today.
Yeah.
I like what you said and the fact that, serious moment. You got to be serious, obviously, but you got to keep it real and be able to play loose. If you're too tight, I imagine it's probably pretty hard to go out and try to make a free throw or a jump shot or whatever it may be. If you're playing loose, things are going to flow a lot better.
Yeah, for sure. But
13 games into the season this year, what's been your favorite part about being part of this team? 13 games in, a couple months in, through workouts and whatnot.
I think my favorite part is just figuring it out. Like I said, we're a new team. We're JD's second year in. We're freshman heavy. It's just figuring each other out. I think that's been the best part about it. And in years to come, I think figuring it out now will help.
What are you most looking forward to the second half of the season? And then you've got one more year in a Trailblazer uniform as well.
Yeah, winning some games. We got to get that down. So I think that's what I'm looking forward to most, is winning.
Well, I appreciate you taking some time and just getting to know you. And this is a great project that the coaches have going this year in this Women's Basketball Weekly. And we get to see you and kind of put a face to the name and the number that's running around out on the court, and all of the fans and everyone following Dixie State women's basketball, and enjoys you taking some time out as well. So thank you.
I'm happy to be here.
She's junior forward Maile Richardson. Of course, again, I'm Carrick Segmiller. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll be joined by head coach JD Gustin as we break down the last 4 games and look forward to the games against Dominican and California Baptist next week. This is Dixie State Women's Basketball Weekly. Stick with us. We'll be back with more right after this. Welcome back inside episode 7 of Dixie State Women's Basketball Weekly, joined now by head coach JD Gustin. As we look back over the past couple of weeks, we'll also take a minute to look forward to Dominican on Friday and another big matchup with California Baptist on Monday right here inside the Burns Arena here on campus. Coach, thanks for taking a couple minutes today. And as we look back, it's been a couple weeks since the last show. In fact, last time we sat down was just a couple of days after the win over Azusa Pacific. Had a lot to talk about that win, and a lot to talk about now kind of on the other side of the spectrum. We were talking about right before the show started, there's ebbs and flows in life, there's ups and downs, and since that win, there's no real way to sugarcoat it. Have dropped 4 straight since then, but have been in every single game, and it's been close, and maybe a thing or two go the other way. We're looking at maybe 2-2 record in those games, or 3-1, or maybe even 4-0.
Yeah. First of all, Happy New Year, my friend. Yeah,
appreciate that.
I hope you had a nice break with your family and your people.
Very, very good.
Yeah.
Not quite long enough. But,
right. Yep. But yeah, lots of stuff has happened since the last time we talked, and like you said, it hasn't all been great. We're in the middle of a process, of a challenge, 4-game losing streak, like you talked about. So we're trying to figure it out, Carrick. It's that time of year where the rubber meets the road, and you're trying to you have ups and downs, and we're trying to stay as even as possible and trying to get better.
You look at the process, 6-7 right now. You were 6-3. Do you feel like maybe with such a young team that you kind of got off to a hot start, and maybe things are kind of evening out to where maybe you thought you'd be, maybe not 6-7, but a couple of losses along the way, probably to be expected with such a young team and just trying to figure this thing out?
Yeah, and I don't know if we take it one game at a time. I didn't really have any expectations in terms of wins and losses. At this point of the year, I had no idea 6-7 or 13 or whatever. It doesn't. One game at a time. I don't think that we really started off hot, to be honest with you, Eric. I thought we've just kind of been average the whole way, trying to figure things out. The 2 wins that we had early on in league, we could have dropped those. There's a couple games that we've lost so far that we could have won those. We are not simply playing well, and for whatever reason, we're trying to figure that out, and still been in almost every game. I feel like our losses, with the exception of maybe one or two, we could have won every one of those.
Absolutely.
And then vice versa in a number of the wins. But right now, we have a really good Dominican team coming to town, and we're just trying to focus on that, and try to get better today in practice.
You're a former player yourself. It feels like over the past couple of games, there's opportunities, open looks, and they look like they're halfway down, and they just pop out. Obviously, you just have to keep shooting, just play through those.
Right.
I mean, as a former player yourself, as a coach, what do you go back to the huddle and you just, you tell the team, look, you ran the play exactly how it was drawn up. We had a great look. It just didn't stay out. What's the message to keep them from kind of getting frustrated with those shots not going down?
Well, last night with Biola, they really rolled the dice and zoned us. I feel like they couldn't guard us and guard our stuff, so they decided to go rec league 2-3 zone, and no disrespect to them, but that's what they did. And we got 18 offensive rebounds. We had a positive assist turnover ratio. Did a number of things well, but missed 30 wide open 3-pointers. Like, you can't. I mean, what do you do? Try and not think about that. We try and think about defending, and while we're getting better defensively, we're still a bad defensive team right now. That's our focus. We're trying to be able to do a better job at keeping people in front, trying to do a better job of assignments. Our game plan D, this is what we're asking you to do. Do your best to do it, and we're still struggling there. But that's what our focus is. Don't think about the offensive end when you're struggling, shooting it. You just try and guard somebody.
There's been some bright individual performances. Taylor Moyaki had a great game the other night. Maddie Ventling, I feel like, is starting to shoot the ball a lot better than she did early on. How encouraging is it to see those kind of things? Obviously, some coaches don't take moral victories and along the road when you're losing, but there's certainly some bright spots along the way. And I feel like Maddie starting to, the lid's coming off for her could be big for your team going forward. Yeah,
you mentioned it a little bit in terms of, the mental approach to this game. College basketball is about being confident, about being comfortable, and Maddie's finally starting to get her confidence back. She had a tremendous summer, a tremendous preseason, and then just had a little bit of a couple weeks where she lost her confidence, and so for sure to get that back is a big deal for us, and we really need her in order to reach our potential, and she knows that. I feel like she has the mentality of she's trying to compete more every single day, no matter what goes in and goes. She wants to beat you, and that's totally the approach that we need from her.
We'll look at another senior, and Ashley Burge has given you some really strong minutes off the bench. While teams are throwing double and triple team at Chris and Baldwin, it's tough for her to get catches down there. And Ashley's been able to come in and mix it up a little bit, gets rebounds, hit shots when she gets an opportunity. It seems like she's stepped up when she's been given those minutes. Yeah,
love her energy, especially last night. She brought a toughness and energy. I like her positive outlook, her positive vibe. We need it. Probably the biggest thing that our team struggles with right now is overall leadership, and we talk about it, we address it, and not that our kids aren't leaders. We just we don't have one that's, or even a couple that really just kind of jump out and take it, and we're trying to figure that out as a group, and it's a process. You have to just stay positive and stay at it, and we're going to be.
Like we mentioned before, basketball and sports in general is just such a synonym, a parallel to what life is. There's going to be ups and downs, and you can learn a lot from. You never want to lose, but you can learn a lot, and you lose 4 straight, but now you get the opportunity. That's what's great about when you're in the midst of the season. You get to look forward to Friday, another game Monday, and then you go on a long road trip to the Bay Area, and there's always another game. So you look forward to this weekend, a very tough Dominican team. What do you see out of Dominican, and then looking forward into California Baptist on Monday as well?
I think our league right now is very even. There's a lot of really solid teams. I think Azusa is still the best team, and especially with the injuries that have happened. So I think every single game is winnable and every single game is losable. Literally, like here on out, I think we could win everyone, and you could lose everyone. In terms of Dominican, they have 2 post players that are just unbelievable. They're just terrific, and they're really hard to guard. They're really hard to keep off the board. Dominican plays really hard. They play with a toughness. They're pretty simple. They don't do a lot of gadgety stuff. They just come at you, and they keep coming at you. And but we're excited about that challenge. And then you know, of course, it's nice to have a rematch with Cal Baptist on our home floor. Know a little bit more about them. It'll be interesting how our kids respond to that game. And then we're looking forward to getting on the road for a nice long trip. It's a great place to go, and you know, I think that we have a chance to do some good things on the road. I think we can compete with everyone out there.
Absolutely, it's been you know, like some ups and downs and been a fun season so far. I'm just excited to see what these next 15 games in conference have in store. So we'll be looking forward to the games on Friday and then again on Monday, and then getting out on the road with you as well. We'll have this show for you next week right here from the studio before we head out on the road, but we'll also have an on the road edition as well while we're in the Bay Area. Coach and I will sit down and be able to, we'll choose a location while we're out there, but looking forward to be able to sit down and have some fun out on the road as well. But we wish you the best of luck going forward in these games, and look forward to our chat next week, and just excited what the rest of the season has in store. So thanks, Coach.
You betcha. Thanks again.
He's head coach JD Gustin. I'm Carrick Segmiller. This has been episode 7 of Dixie State Women's Basketball Weekly. Like we just mentioned, we'll catch you next week on the show right here from the CEC TV studios, and then the week after we'll be down in the Bay Area getting you some Women's Basketball Weekly from the Bay Area as well. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you next week right here, Dixie State Women's Basketball Weekly.